Hi, so in this video we're going to take a look at a compressor technique which makes an SSL channel compressor sound good on pretty much any source. And it's not in a standard way that you tend to use a compressor, so let's go! So when it comes to classic mixing techniques, there are actually many. Probably the most famous one is the pull-tech trick, where you boost and cut out the same frequency on a pull-tech EQ at the same time. And that results in the boost of the bass frequencies and a notch in the low mids, which sounds pretty nice on the kick drum, for example. Now this particular compression technique with an SSL channel compressor is not so widely published. I did make a video on this before, but unfortunately I had to take it down because of a copyright claim. So I'm remaking this video because it's a technique that's very interesting and well worth sharing. Now the actual origin of this technique is a bit misty, so if you know anything about that, please put it in the comments. I'm very interested. And so we can all learn from that. Now this particular technique works with any SSL channel strip compressor, of which there are many of course. It probably also works on the SSL hardware, although I've never tried it myself. But I did try it with a couple of SSL channel strip plugins, and yes, it works on all of them. Now when I show you this technique in a minute, please first let go of all of your preconceptions about how you set up a compressor, because this is totally different and will not make sense. Where you normally set up the ratio of a compressor to determine how heavy the compression will be, set up the threshold to set which part of the signal is affected by the compression, and then you set up the attack and the release to determine the behavior of the compressor at the onset and when the signal dips below the threshold again. This technique really ignores all of that, so be warned, but also listen to the results. All of the tracks that I'm going to use in these examples are from a studio recording of my band The Wash in Lef Studios in Uden in Holland, and the track is called No Silence. And I'll put links to both the studio and this track and this video in the description below, so you can check it out if you're interested and show us some love and kindness. So let's dive in. So the first example is the kick track of our song, so let's listen to that without the SSL channel strip trick, but it does have a bit of shaping already with an EQ, and it actually contains the pull-tech trick. But since this video is not about that trick, let's just ignore that for now. And this is how it sounds. Yeah, so you can hear it's a real live drum recording with lots of spill from other instruments as well. We could gate that out as well, but I'm not going to do that for now. Instead, I'm going to put an SSL channel strip compressor on there, and this time I'm going to use the BX Console SSL 4000E from Plugin Alliance, because I think it's a really nice emulation. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take out some low end with the filters, so that the low end doesn't trigger the compressor too much. And I only need the high pass filter, so I'm disengaging this one. Let's take out some of the low end. And it's important that you take out this low end before the compressor. And on this particular emulation of the SSL, the filters are before the compressor. But on some SSL channel strips, you need to push the split button to make sure that these filters are before the compressor. And this is the compressor part. And for this trick, we're going to leave the attack and release at the default. We're going to set the compression ratio to 1:1. And we're going to set the threshold to as low as possible. So you're basically affecting as much of the signal now as possible. And the idea is that you now slowly turn up the ratio until you have about 3 to 6 dB of compression. Let's do that. Now, even though this compressor is supposed to have auto gain, it did get a bit louder when I turned up the ratio. So I now gain match the affected signal by using the volume slider on the right here. And let's listen to the difference with and without this compression technique. Yeah, so I feel this technique has just added some nice compression, adding some nice attack to this kick drum, which is usually what you want to do with a kick drum. Now you may think like, hang on, but is this not level dependent? Like depending on how loud you actually recorded the signal, the kick in this case. Now I did turn down the threshold as far as it goes, of course, but what I'm also doing in case of this trick is a bit of gain staging, because you're seeing the End Console plugin over here, which is a console emulation that I'm also using for gain staging. So to make sure that all signals are around -18 dB on this VU meter over here. And VU meters don't really measure the peaks, so they are a bit misleading on these percussive sounds. So with percussive sounds, what I'm usually shooting for is between -10 and -7 dB after gain staging. So you can see that it is set to that level. It's not absolutely necessary for this trick, but I feel it does improve the consistency and predictability of the technique a bit more. Now, before we go on to the next example, if you like this video or find it useful at all, please give it a big thumbs up on YouTube so that it gets shown to more people. And if you like videos like this, subscribe to the channel and ring the little bell icon so you get notified when I publish another video. To support the channel even more, you can use the super thanks button below, kind of a virtual tip jar, or use any of the affiliate links in the description to one of these stores if you're going to buy something over there. If you do so after clicking one of those links, I'll get a small commission without any extra cost to you. And it doesn't even have to be the exact products that I'm linking to. Any products in any of those stores after clicking those links will provide that commission. So let's now check out how this technique sounds on the snare track. And again, I have first gain staged this channel. I guess it peaks to just around -7 on this VU meter. Let's put the same SSL plugin on there. Let's again first make sure to get rid of the really low end. Set the ratio to 1:1. Set the threshold to as low as it goes. And then raise the ratio until we get about 3 to 6 dB of compression. So let's compare it after level matching the output again. Yeah, so I think the snare has become a bit more snappy and you get a bit more focus on the ghost notes of the snare that are played because they come up a bit in level due to the compression. Let's check it out on an acoustic guitar recording. And I've again used the end console to gain stage this to about -18 dB. So in this case the VU meter should hover around 0 because this sound is less percussive. Yeah, the playing is still a bit percussive, but this is the way it sounds without the compression technique. So let's put on the same SSL compressor again. First take out the lows. Set the compressor ratio to 1:1, threshold to -20, as low as it goes. And then turn up the ratio until you get 3 to 6 dB of compression. And this is how it sounds after level matching, before and after compression. Yeah, so again, it brings out the snappiness in this more percussive guitar part, equals out the level a bit more, and I think it makes the guitar part sound a bit more edgy. Now, I also tried this technique on some other sources and it is equally effective, but by all means, go try it out yourself and let me know in the comments how you're doing and what you're noticing and whether you like this technique or whether you think it's complete nonsense. Also, if you have any more information on the background, please put it in the comments as well, so we can all learn from that. Now, if you're interested in the traditional way to set up a compressor and the 3 ways and 3 reasons why I use compression in a mix, I talk about that in this video. So check it out, enjoy, and see you soon.